If you feel like your most important work is constantly being derailed, pulled between a blinking chat notification, an urgent email that could have waited, and just this relentless pressure to look busy, you are not alone.
No, not a
I mean, it's pretty much the defining professional struggle of our time.
It really is that internal friction, that feeling of just being cognitively exhausted all the time. That's exactly where we're starting our deep dive today.
Yeah.
We're pulling all the core arguments
Hmm.
and the most actionable strategies directly from Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, Master Focus to Unlock Your Full Potential in a Distracted World.
It's an essential read, so we should probably start with a really clear definition for everyone listening. What exactly does Newport mean when he says deep work?
Right. So deep work is the ability to focus without any distraction on a cognitively demanding task.
Okay.
And this skill is so critical because when you do it, it lets you master really difficult information fast
Yeah.
and produce exceptional results in, way less time.
Yeah.
It is fundamentally your competitive advantage.
So our mission today is to basically deliver the shortcut. We're going to unpack why this focused ability is not just like a nice to have, but is absolutely essential for thriving in this new economy.
Mm-hmm.
We'll also look at the paradox of why the skill is, well, vanishing. And then the best part, we'll give you the 4 non-negotiable practical rules you can implement, right away.
And to really get the why, you have to understand the economic landscape you're in.
Right.
We're living through what some economists, Brynjolfsson and McAfee, call the Great Restructuring.
Great restructuring.
Yeah. And in short, it just means that technology, so automation, AI, is moving so incredibly fast that skill development among workers just can't keep up.
It sounds like the classic tech disruption story, but with a bit of a twist. It's like the economy isn't just changing, it's splitting in 2.
It is splitting.
Oh.
And the rewards, all the economic rewards, are flowing to 3 very specific groups.
Okay, let's break them down.
The first group is the high-skilled workers. So think data scientists, specialized engineers,
Right.
people who can work with complex automated machines. Their value is, well, it's directly tied to their ability to master the hard things.
And the second group.
Those are the superstars. This is the elite talent in a field. Think of a top developer like David Heinemeier Hansson. They're chosen from a global marketplace now, so their competition isn't just down the street anymore. It's everyone, everywhere.
So the top 1% can just capture the entire audience.
Pretty much. And the third group is, well, it's simple. The owners of capital. Big investors like John Doerr who profit from the tech without much personal labor.
Right.
But for most of us listening, we're probably aiming for those first 2 groups. And for them, for the high-skilled workers and the superstars, there are 2 core abilities that are just paramount for survival.
So if deep work is the answer, how does it directly connect to those 2 abilities? How does it get you into that thriving class?
Well, the 2 abilities are, first, the ability to quickly master complex skills, what Newport calls hard things.
Okay. And second, the ability to produce output at an elite level. So high quality, but also high speed. Deep work is the only way you can really acquire both of them quickly.
And the science behind this is fascinating, right? It's that deep, focused practice reinforces the neural connections, the myelin, as he calls it, to make these complex tasks feel almost automatic.
Yes, that's the mechanism of mastery.
And for elite output, just concentrating on one single thing eliminates all that time you waste switching between tasks. I mean, we see this with people like Adam Grant, the organizational psychologist.
Yeah.
He intentionally batches his work, his teaching, his writing, his research into these huge protected blocks of time to get that high output.
That concentration is the whole game. Now, the book does mention people like Jack Dorsey, who seems to thrive in a super distracted environment.
Right, the exception.
Exactly. He's the exception that proves the rule. For most of us, deep work isn't a luxury, it's a competitive necessity. So if deep focus is literally the key to winning economically, why do our workplaces seem designed to completely destroy it? Let's get into this paradox of rarity.
It's the institutional inertia of the digital age. I mean, companies need the output that comes from deep work, but they create environments that promote the total opposite.
Like what?
Well, look at 3 major trends. First, open office workspaces.
Oh, the worst.
Right. Companies like Facebook and Square push them for collaboration, but study after study shows the constant noise and visual clutter just crushes concentration and, productivity.
It's the tyranny of visibility. If I can see you, I can interrupt you.
Precisely. And that leads right into the second trend, the instant messaging culture.
The constant pings.
The constant pings. These tools create an expectation of an immediate response. And that doesn't just interrupt you. It leaves behind what he calls attention residue.
What's that?
It means your brain takes a while to fully switch back to the original task. So every interruption has this long tail of unproductivity.
And it bleeds out into our public lives, too. I mean, even journalists at places like the New York Times are pressured to maintain this constant, distracting social media presence, which pulls them away from the actual deep work of writing.
And this is all made worse by these organizational habits that just don't reward depth. You have what he calls the metric black hole.
The metric black hole.
Yeah, organizations really struggle to measure the value of deep work. It's hard to put a number on an hour of uninterrupted thought, right? So they just reward what's easy to count.
Email sent, meetings attended.
Exactly. Trivial stuff. And if there are no clear metrics for success, people just default to what feels easiest.
Which is the principle of least resistance.
You got it. Sending 50 emails feels productive, even if none of them actually move the needle on an important project. And this is how we get to busyness as a proxy for productivity. We've just accepted that being visibly active is the same as being effective.
So the big takeaway here for anyone listening is, because this skill is so neglected by our culture, its scarcity makes it an incredible source of leverage for the person who actually chooses to embrace it.
And that choice goes way beyond just productivity. It really gets to personal fulfillment. Deep work offers meaning.
I love that connection. Can you talk about that using the example of Rick Furr, the blacksmith?
Yeah, Furr is a perfect example of this link between depth and meaning. He forged these incredible pattern-welded Viking swords.
Wow.
And he finds this profound sense of meaning, not despite the difficulty, but because of it. It requires this singular focused effort, and it results in something tangible. You can see the progress. That sense of craftsmanship is so fulfilling in a way that, answering emails just isn't.
That is a stark contrast, yeah. It's hard to feel fulfilled when your whole day is just a blur of ambiguous reports and Slack messages. Deep work brings back that sense of purpose. So, if we're sold on the idea, how do we start? Let's jump into the 4 rules, starting with rule number 1. Work deeply.
The core idea here is that just relying on willpower is a losing strategy.
It's finite.
It's totally finite. So we need structured routines to force depth into our schedules.
Newport gives us 4 different philosophies for this, right? They kind of range from the extreme to the more practical.
They do. At one end, you have the monastic approach, which is just eliminating almost all shallow work. Super aggressive.
Not for everyone.
Definitely not. Then there's bimodal, where you set aside huge chunks of time, like days or weeks, just for deep work. But for most people, the rhythmic approach, like a 2-hour block every single morning, or the journalistic approach, just grabbing deep work opportunities when they pop up, are going to be more realistic. The key is just to pick one and stick to it.
And to really visualize this, we should talk about that conceptual design, the eudaimonia machine. It's not about actually building it, but...
It's about the philosophy behind it.
Exactly.
The eudaimonia machine is this idea for a building designed for peak performance. You have to move through 5 rooms in sequence. But the final room is the whole point, the deep work chambers.
Soundproof, total focus.
Total focus. The architecture itself forces you to prioritize depth. Collaboration is a scheduled event, but deep work is a protected sacred state.
Which is the complete opposite of an open office. Okay, moving on to training the mind. Let's talk about the counterintuitive advice in rule number 2. Embrace boredom. If focus is a muscle, how do we build it?
With consistency and intensity, just like working out. He gives the example of Adam Marlin, who had 3 Ivy League degrees, but said the intense daily Talmud study he did, this hard brain strain, built his cognitive muscle way more than his formal education.
Because concentration is a skill you have to train.
You have to train it, and the crucial strategy here just runs against every modern impulse we have.
Yeah.
Instead of taking breaks from your focus by checking your phone.
You schedule your breaks from focus.
Exactly. You schedule your internet time into specific blocks, maybe 15 minutes every hour. That way, you're training your brain to resist the craving for distraction during the other 45 minutes.
And you can use techniques like Rooseveltian intensity.
Yeah, setting super tight deadlines to force intense concentration, and also productive meditation.
I have to admit, trying to solve a complex work problem while I'm out for a walk, it sounds exhausting. Is it really better than just taking a real break?
Well, it's a different kind of tool. It's about harnessing that mindless time walking, showering, driving to intentionally focus on a high-level problem. You're not relaxing, you're exercising your focus muscle when you'd otherwise just be idle or distracted.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move to the biggest attention sink of all with rule number 3, Quit Social Media. The book has a serious critique of what he calls the any benefit mindset.
The any benefit mindset is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's when we justify using a tool like Twitter or Instagram based on some minor occasional benefit.
Like, I might see a useful article.
Right. While totally ignoring the massive negative consequences on our concentration and time.
So we need a much tougher standard, the craftsman approach.
Exactly. The craftsman approach says you should only use tools that have a genuine, significant positive impact on your core goals. It's about applying that 80-20 rule to your tools. Focus only on the vital few.
And the practical step for this is the 30-day social media experiment. After 30 days without it, what are the questions you should be asking yourself?
Two very specific questions. One, would the last 30 days have been notably better if I had been using this service?
Okay.
And two, did people whose opinions I respect actually care that I wasn't using it? If the answer to both is no, then the tool is a net negative and you can quit for good.
That's a powerful filter. Which brings us to the final rule for getting control back. Rule number 4, drain the shallows. First, let's define shallow work.
Shallow work is all that non-cognitively demanding logistical stuff. Things that are easy to train someone else to do and that don't create much new value. We have to treat this kind of work with suspicion because our culture way overvalues it.
But what about the reality of the workplace? If my boss or the company culture rewards looking busy, how do I apply this rule without looking like I'm slacking off?
That is the key challenge. You have to get super clear on what your real value-driving tasks are and schedule them first. The book suggests 2-time strategies for this. First, scheduling every minute of your day.
Every single minute.
Every minute. Now, you'll constantly have to adjust the schedule, but the act of doing it forces you to see where all the shallow tasks are stealing your deep work time.
And the second strategy is fixed schedule productivity.
This one is huge for preventing burnout.
Yeah.
You set a firm, non-negotiable end time to your workday.
So I'm done at 5 p.m. no matter what.
No matter what. And that forces you to be disciplined and focused during those limited hours. The company 37 Signals, now Basecamp, did this. They tried a 4-day work week and found that less time forced them to be more efficient.
Finally, we have to become hard to reach. How do we manage the flood of email without just ignoring people?
You can use sender filters and things like that, but the most powerful shift is to be more process-centric in your replies.
What does that mean?
It means when you reply to a request, don't just give a vague answer. Clearly define the next steps, who is responsible, and what the outcome should be. This closes the communication loop and kills all those endless back-and-forth email chains.
So when we put all 4 of these rules together, what's the big picture? Let's zoom out for the final takeaway.
At the end of the day, deep work is a pragmatic skill that leads to major accomplishments. It's not some moral stand against technology. I mean, think about Bill Gates back in 1974.
Boy, with the basic software.
He dedicated himself with this intense, serialized focus for 2 months, working until he literally fell asleep at the keyboard to develop that software.
And that singular commitment is what separated him from everyone else.
Absolutely. His ability to just concentrate deeply on that one massive task is what launched a multi-billion-dollar industry. And it proves that the deep life requires leaving behind, as Newport says, the comfort in the artificial busyness of rapid email messaging and social media posturing.
So it's a deliberate choice to move from just having potential to actually creating tangible output. And he encourages making a grand gesture to signal that you're serious.
Because if you wait for your environment to become distraction-free, you're going to wait forever. You have to force the environment to adapt to you.
So we want to leave you with this provocative thought. What specific, immediate, grand gesture, something costly in your time or your habits, could you make this week to signal a serious, irreversible commitment to the focused life?
Yeah.
Could you book a retreat for a critical project, or maybe permanently delete a digital habit today that you know is sabotaging your capacity for depth? The commitment has to be public, or at least painful enough that you'll actually stick with it.